Mm-hmm. Right, let's get on Benavidez, and then we'll see where we end up after that, I suppose. Rob, we'll get to you first of all. Benavidez, Demetrius, Andrade. A few people think Andrade might give him a little bit of trouble, as Caleb Plant did for the first 6 or so rounds, but Benavidez would eventually stalk him and close him down.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know what? Like we've laughed at Boo Boo over the years from his fucking inexplicable fucking Spice Girl fan base to his fucking turning up with at a Canelo press conference with a t-shirt. He clearly made himself under Eddie Hearn's instructions until Eddie fucking realized the block was hot and was like, Canelo wasn't feeling this shit. He's like, get the fuck out of the room. We all remember it. You're here looking for the payday. Yeah. But that kind of summed up Andrade's career. He never looked great beating guys that he should have beat, but he still beat them. He was quote unquote avoided according to Eddie Hearn when he was on the zone, but he wasn't bringing any currency anywhere, even for a guy with his ability. But I know from the US amateur team really ranked him highly, Andrade, in his early career. And I don't think he's a bad fighter. And I don't think Benavidez is a great fighter either. I think he's a good pressure fighter. I think he's a monster. He's big at the weight. I think he's definitely problematic for a lot of guys. But I don't know if Andrade can't pick his pocket, that way. I just don't see Andrade folding under pressure that easily. I don't think he's like, we haven't seen him tested because he hasn't had like high level opposition. But I think against a guy like Benavidez, is Benavidez going to be able to like fucking fire off on Andrade all night? I don't know. Like, is he going to be able to back him up? I think he's a bigger. I know he's moving up or whatever, but I just think I don't know. I don't see it being a cakewalk for Benavidez. I think Andrade has the skills to potentially pick Benavidez's pocket in a really, really boring fight and shut him out. But I like everything about the Benavidez guys. Like, that way they're like fucking, they don't give a fuck. They're a bit mad. They're here to fight. Like the other brother with the bad leg or whatever was John against Crawford. He's John against Charlo. This Charlo fight, by the way, what the fuck? What weight did Maddie say this fight's at?
163, I think he said.
But you give me a break bringing fucking Benavidez, who Crawford knocked out at 140, up to
47. He knocked out. He knocked him out at 47.
47. Sorry, but still, he's bringing him up fucking 40. This fella doesn't belong at 160 anything.
He's 6 foot tall, and him and Garcia
he's his brother and both up to his feet.
Nah, I'm not seeing that. I think that's going to be a fucking easy fight for Charlo. I think Charlo's going to blast him out of there, but I'm not sure what the fuck is going on with this Charlo guy either. He seems to be the mentally fragile one. There seems to be a lot of stuff going on with him. So we have to see. Obviously, this fight, Benavidez has been brought in as an opponent because he can be on his brother's card, and they can drag him up the weight.
Shit as well, yeah.
Yeah, and he will sell a fight. He'd be John. He'd be fucking exactly like you said, Steve. It's like, and it's nothing to drag an opponent up the weight because the smaller Charlo has gone up the fight. You know what I mean? It's it's non-consequential or whatever. But I think that's too big of a jump for him, and I think Charlo will spark him. But regardless, I don't see Benavidez having a night like he had against Plant with Andrade, but he'd probably still get the win. Sorry, I went around the houses.
No, you're fine. Ames Chase Athletic says Benavidez needs to set his feet. Side-to-side movement will be hard to deal with. We've seen it again in the Pant fight, the Ronald Ellis as well at times, even Tyrone Davis. People who've given him a bit of movement have troubled him. Andrade is awkward, so this might not go the way everyone thinks. MB says that as well. I agree with that too, Ames. I think the problem for Andrade is in the later rounds, after about round 8, he's done his moving, he's been slick, he's got out the way, he's landed shots, but then is that gas tank there? Has the quality of opposition been there over the last few years? Whenever he's not in against guys like Liam Williams and Selecki and that, he realises he's in against a young, fresh beast who's going to keep on rolling him down. I think, Ames, that's when the problems start for Andrade.
Yeah, I echo exactly what you're saying there. If his movement stops at around 8, well, his power shrinks after round 4 as well too. And if he's not stopping you after the first, second, third, or fourth, then you go in the 12 as well, and that's just going to give Benavidez the opportunity to close any gaps that there are and get him out of there. I don't really have any other opinion other than the consensus that Benavidez walks Andrade down. This is one of those fights where, look, if Andrade does end up beating Benavidez, then like that's finally the feather in his cap in a resume that's really been lacking, and he can finally call on those big fights. He's got it. He's done it there, but I don't see him doing it.
Andy, Matt Butters said, yeah, PBC wants Benavidez more than Andrade, I think. Well, Andrade's only just linked up with him with DAZN. It's like the story of a lot of these fighters, isn't it? They get the fights with Eddie and then they disappear off for the big ones. They brought Andrade over to lose, possibly. Maybe that's what Matt Butters is inferring.
I hate to be this guy, but you have to say there is a pattern with Al Heyman getting black fighters who have not gotten a really good payday a lot of the time. Like he does help his people out. Like, I'm not saying that in an insulting fashion. Like, Heyman really does seem to go to bat for black fighters in a different way.
I don't know.
Well, we are the UK wing of the LDBC. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, I was just going to say as well. I mean, he's done well by like the Mexicans that he's had in his stable and that as well.
Leo did name his kid after Al.
Exactly. And I say to Stephen that as well. I mean, obviously he's getting the big money paydays, but you just don't know what kind of advice he's getting in the background. They've all got big, massive hussies, nice living and that type of thing. So maybe Al does more for him in the background. But in terms of the fight itself, I think we could be in for a bit of a stinker, actually. I think Andrade's going to employ a lot of movement, do a lot on the back foot. Benavidez will probably need to work for this, actually. You just don't know as well. And, for as much as we shout on Andrade for his opposition and the fact that they couldn't get him big fights or meaningful fights, you just wonder, is this the time now? He's been sort of kind of like in the periphery, the kind of like the bigger fights, the meaningful fights. He's apparently not been hard to deal with, according to Benavidez, to make this fight happen. They made him an offer. He came back with a couple of wee things. Fight was made, and then you just wonder, is Benavidez going to hit the wall in terms of weight? Obviously, we're kind of waiting for that as well, but I think Benavidez will win. I think he wins it on points. I think Andrade will have moments where he sticks and moves. He'll jab the body. I think where it will be more meaningful for Benavidez is I think when he does get into distance, he will rip the body. He will he's a bigger dude, actually, in my opinion. So I think he'll land more heavier shots. I think down the stretch he'll start to kind of come more into it and maybe kind of start pulling away in the fight. So something like a 116, 112 to Benavidez, in my opinion. Obviously, we're coming up to fight week. We just need to wait and see how he does look like on the scales and that as well. But I think Andrade's good enough, skilled enough as well to make this a difficult fight and to find his way around about that ring for 12 rounds to frustrate Benavidez to the point where he's not so much desperate, but his performance looks a bit off, and we're all kind of questioning, is it the weight, is it this, is it that? Just the fact that Andrade just made it look awful for him, basically. So, but I still think Benavidez would win. So we'll wait and see.
I think if he loses, and it's pretty conclusive, Matty, he'll probably ride off into the sunset, Andrade. I've always felt that his heart's maybe not completely in it, but he is a talented guy, good amateur as well. I know that his dad was talking to, what do you call that freaking Sheffield trainer? Dominic Ingle. And he's saying that the son likes the juice, like he loves getting on the piss. So maybe he's going to go off and drink the champagne rather than box if he loses a conclusive decision to Benavidez.
Well, and he's a 35-year-old man, so isn't that an interesting piece of information?
Mm-hmm.
There's a few questions that I have regarding this fight. Some, that you got for the the powers that be to answer, and some for you guys to answer for me. Question number one is, I want to know how big the ring size is for this fight.
Oh,
if this is a 20-foot or less ring, I definitely think Benavidez stops him. You give Andrade something bigger than that, and it could be more interesting. What I would ask you guys is, can you name a legitimate puncher on Andrade's resume?
I don't think I can name too many people full stop on Andrade's resume.
I need to go and pull it up.
Mon Nicholson, and he dropped him. He can bang.
He's not a world class.
No, I agree with you.
Liam Williams was going on a bit of a knockout spree at the time, was he not?
Williams has a bit of pop. Again, I don't know that I'd consider him a world class fighter.
So.
Vanis Martirosyan was a bit of a knockout puncher.
Don't know.
Yeah, but he dropped Andrade in their fight.
Yeah.
First round.
I think, like you said, Matty, if Andrade can stretch the ring out, then he can get out of Benavidez's way. It could be interesting.
Atlantis Fox dropped him in the 7th round.
Yeah, and Atlantis Fox, yeah.
7 years in the build-up to this fight.
So, but you got this guy who's never faced a legitimate puncher on 35-year-old legs, and if he does have a problem with a drink, it's going to be hell. It's going to be a really, really rough fight with him. I'll tell you, I got for joining.
There's no problems with the drink.
I think Andrade was like the party lifestyle at one point. It was what was being said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Benavidez likes a bit of party as well.
Yeah, he
But
does.
he's
What's to do
also
with Mel
he's
B
not
as a
a-
fan?
he's
She's
not
a bit of a party, isn't
35.
she? By reputation.
Dragging that ass down to 68, baby.
But Benavidez isn't 35 years old either. You know.
Boo boo.
Yeah,
I think,
but Matt, he's only so often you can. I don't care. Wait, Benavidez is late 20s now.
Motherfuckers,
so often
quarter
you
to
keep
11. We get
dragging
on the fucking bed. Fuck Demetrius Andrade. Quarter to 11 on a Sunday.
but
Fuck this shit.
hold on. It could come back to bite him. But I think at the end of the day, what you're looking at here is that Demetrius Andrade is going to do a lot of what Caleb Plant did, and he's going to build up a big lead early. And I don't know if the lead he builds up is going to be too big for Benavidez to be able to get on the scorecards if it gets there, and he's going to need a knockout or not. My hunch is that Benavidez is going to stop him late. I joined ESPN bet. They just introduced it, and I placed one $5 bet, and they gave me 5 free $50 bets. So yeah, good one. So I did a little hedge bet, and I get better than even money on both Andrade to win at about 5-2, and then about 3-2 on Benavidez by stoppage. So out of their free bets, I'm willing to take a wing on both of those. But there's a reason why Benavidez by KO is you're getting less odds on that one than Demetrius Andrade to win. And that's more likely. I mean, I just think this guy's been without a real dance partner for too damn long. And unless Benavidez cannot make the weight anymore, which is always up for grabs, he's a big boy. I think that this fight is going to be really rough for Benavidez early. He's going to get outboxed. He's going to take some clean shots. Maybe we even see him touch the canvas.
Ugly fight, I think, Matty.
But he's going to come back vicious. And the fact that he can throw those short shots inside, those short hooks, short uppercuts, it's going to be dangerous for Andrade, who likes to lean in a little bit from time to time. I think that there's a lot of trouble waiting for Andrade when he starts slowing down in the later rounds. So I'm looking at Benavidez late. And I'll also be looking at the live odds for this fight too, because if you end up seeing Andrade build up a lead, you might be able to catch Benavidez at 3, 4, 5-1 at some point in the fight too. And I think that's really good value knowing what he does late in fights.